As of Tuesday, Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell is the longest-serving Republican leader in the Senate's history. McConnell's tenure has surpassed former Kansas Senator Bob Dole, who served in the role for 11 years. A story published Tuesday in the Lexington Herald-Leader explores McConnell's role in the Republican Party over the years and how it has impacted his home state. Daniel Desrocher is a political reporter for the Lexington Herald-Leader, and he joins me now with more on this as part of our Local Matters series. Welcome to you, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Senator McConnell told the Herald-Leader that despite its problems, Kentucky is better off having the Republican leader representing the state. What contributions has he made to Kentucky during his tenure as leader?
Well, I think one of the biggest contributions that Senator McConnell has made has really been politics, right? It's been political. He's often said that in order to set policy, you need to win elections. And the biggest thing that he's done is he's really shepherded in this era of Republican control in Kentucky. So when you look at when he was first elected to office, most of our federal representatives were Democrats. And he was a part of this wave of to the point now where most of our federal representatives are Republicans. And he's even done it on the state level as well. Just in 2016, Kentucky flipped from having Democratic control in the House of Representatives to having Republican control. And that kind of fulfilled this mission that he's had, I guess, over the course of his career to turn Kentucky into a red state in a way.
Well, what are some of the most pressing problems facing Kentucky? And do Kentucky residents feel that Senator McConnell is the right person to handle them?
Well, so it's really interesting because when you look at his approval ratings in the state, they're always kind of low. I mean, he as a member of leadership in Washington, D.C., he gets a lot of the grief over whatever's going on in Congress. But when he comes back, he wins his elections, and Kentuckians seem to continue to vote for him. In terms of the pressing issues, I think that there's always been certain issues in the state. And I mean, we have a high level of poverty. You have this Appalachian poverty that's going on in eastern Kentucky. You also have the drug epidemic. We've been one of the states that has been hit the hardest by the opioid crisis. And so there are certainly issues where he can step in and try and help out and make a big impact. In particular, the one that we're watching right now is what's going on with these tariffs with President Trump. I mean, if those tariffs do go into effect, there will be Kentuckians who are hurt by this. The bourbon industry has been booming lately, and they're one of the industries that would be affected by the tariffs, and the automobile industry as well. The automobile industry employs a lot of people in Kentucky. So if those tariffs do go into effect, it'll be interesting to see how he navigates that relationship with President Trump.
Well, Senator McConnell is, of course, an important figure on the national stage. What can you tell us about his legacy in the Senate in terms of shaping Republican policy and solidifying power?
Well, so I think that if you look at his current legacy, the thing that jumps out to me the most is this approval of conservative Supreme Court justices. One of the biggest moves that he made was denying President Obama the opportunity to appoint a Supreme Court justice to replace Antonin Scalia. And so in preventing Merrick Garland from joining the court and allowing Judge Gorsuch to be a member of the court, he really kind of set a conservative path for I think that it'll be a long time. It'll be several years where there will be more conservative justices on the court. And it's not just happening at the Supreme Court level. It's happening at the lower courts. And that really might make a difference on policy because we've seen a lot of progressive victories in the courts in recent years. If you look at particularly the LGBT movement, that's where we've seen some of the biggest victories for gay rights. And so it'll be interesting to see how future decisions are held with a more conservative leaning, I guess, judicial system.
Well, what has Senator McConnell's role been during the Trump administration, and has it changed his legislative approach?
So, I mean, I think that he's kind of had this on-again, off-again relationship with President Trump where there was a bit of time back in the summer of 2017 where Trump was really attacking Senator McConnell and going after him. And I think that all of Washington has probably tried to figure out how to navigate President Trump and how to navigate his sometimes shooting from the hip way of doing things. And it's been kind of interesting to see how he's been able to get some of his legislative priorities done. In particular, there's this bill that we're watching now where it would allow for hemp to be no longer considered a controlled substance. And it'll be interesting to see how he navigates this process and how he gets the president and the administration on board.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, Senator McConnell is sort of the embodiment of the establishment, but it has been fascinating to watch sort of this on again, off again, but really a partnership when it comes to trying to get these policy issues through. All right, Daniel Desrocher with the Lexington Herald-Leader. Thanks so much, Daniel, for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.